Pro Football player Travis Kelce is pressed for time during the football season. So he does two things at once. Whether it's grilling while mowing.
Two things at once!
Or getting this season's updated COVID-19 shot at the same visit as his flu shot.
Two things at once.
You can be like Travis and ask your pharmacist about getting this season's COVID-19 shot at the same visit as your flu shot, if you're due for both, as recommended by the CDC. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote.com. That's SelectQuote.com.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Thanks for tuning into our podcast. We love having you here, and it's our mission to bring you all the latest and greatest tips, skills, and know-how to make you the best that you can be. We know that you have it in you, and we're going to show you how. Now, let's get started.
This episode is powered by Poddex.
Thank you for tuning in today. You are now listening to That Will Never Work podcast with your host, Maurice Chisholm. Hey, what's going on, everyone? How are you? Today is very interesting because my wife and I, we were talking about some things or traits that people have that prohibits them from moving forward, right? And what people tend to do or find themselves doing in order to get good graces with individuals. Maybe they're supervisors, maybe a client, or whatever it is. You know, people, there are some people that we've discussed that find themselves in a place that could be a little strange or interesting. And ultimately, where does that idea or that feeling come from? So, have you ever found yourself in a meeting with your supervisors or a client, and you're agreeing to everything that they're talking about on the surface, but you really do not agree? What is a term for that? What is the idea of that? If you find yourself that, you know, it's hard for you to express your own opinion because you don't upset the apple cart, what are you doing? How does that benefit you or them, right? So one of the things that we talked about, or the word that or a phrase we were using was called people pleasing. And how many people find themselves to be in a people-pleasing scenario? And I think what happens is that, because we talked about it, again, if you know, my wife and I, we come from a church background. And so I think even from a church perspective, you know, people are in this people-pleasing space where they are not really saying what their opinion is or their ideas are. They're going based off of purely off the leadership, but then no one grows from whatever your comment or your opinion would be. And sometimes being in a subservient space could backfire where you don't ever really reach your greatest potential. I think that we need to be able to take a stand and not stand and be, hey, you know, I'm putting my pitchfork down, or my bale of hay or building my wall or whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that, as someone is saying something and you don't agree, stand on the fact that you don't agree, right? You don't have to be a person or a yes individual in order for you to move forward. Feel confident in yourself that you can, that your opinion is valuable. There's some articles I've been reading about this idea of people pleasing, and really what it comes down to is people not having enough self-confidence or understanding their self-worth. And it was recommended that people need to build up their mental strength overall. And I read a lot of articles about it. And so does that place of not understanding your your self-worth, your self-confidence, does that come from a place where someone did not build you up? And now it's time for you to be built up, and you're not sure how to take that or how to do that or how to maneuver through that. I encourage you today to take a look at your self-worth. And do you really, in order for you to move ahead, do you have to be a people pleaser? Now, again, you don't have to, let's not confuse playing politics with people pleasing. Because sometimes, people look at politics or playing that game of politics, and in them playing politics, they have to please everybody. But even in politics, you're still going to rub somebody the wrong way. So understand that whatever you need to do for yourself to become more self-confident and understand your worth, take a stand and believe in yourself. It's not easy to do. It's not going to happen overnight. And you don't have to be rude or ignorant about it. But in order for you to reach your greatest potential, you're going to have to believe and stand for something. You really are. So in that people-pleasing mode, try your best to not avoid conflict, because it can happen, right? Also, try your best, and because you're trying to avoid conflict, it also can lead to your feelings not being hurt. And sometimes, and I understand that feelings are what they are, right? And people don't want to be hurt overall, and I understand that. But in that space, I understand we need to protect it as much as we can, or most of us need to protect it as much as we can. A lot of us have not built up enough roots, if you will, to stay grounded enough that if someone comes and attacks us, we know how to combat that or deal with that and be able to take it. Constructive criticism, if you will. And that's a skill. That's an ability that you work on over a period of time. It doesn't happen overnight. Also, let's try to find a way that we can feel comfortable when someone is angry at us. Again, talking about being emotional. We have to be able to withstand all of those things, and be able to take it in a manner where it's not so detrimental to our well-being, and we get thrown off. And then we find ourselves in this people-pleasing state because we want these individuals to like us. It's that the cool kid vibe. You in school, and these are the cool kids, and you're not part of the cool kids. I understand that. Trust me. I understand being the fat kid. I understand being a kid with, the appearance of not being groomed, i.e. a haircut, very often, or whatever it is. I understand that very, very well, and not being in the cool section. But at times, you have to be able to be strong enough in who you are and what you are to overcome that. A day like today, me recording a show like this, it brings back a lot of feelings, right? But there are some moments where I reflect. I'm reflecting now on some of those individuals that laughed at me then, call me for advice now. It's very interesting how the tables have turned. So keep your head up. Understand what your self-worth. Let's start to build up some self-confidence. And take a look at this picture as we are moving forward to fulfilling and reaching our greatest potential. We don't need to have that validation from others 100% of the time. Every now and then, yes. Every now and then they hear someone, have someone pat you on the back, say, the attaboys. No, that's great. That's always fine. That's not an issue, right? But every so often, you don't need it all the time. Because at some point in time, that energy needs to come from within you. So let's find a way to work past the people-pleasing stage and build up our self-worth and self-confidence and being able to be rooted in what's real to reach our greatest potential.
Loved what you've heard on this week's episode? Well, the answer is simple. It would mean the world to us if you could head over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review and feedback. Spreading the word really is the best way to grow our podcast and achieve even greater things. Thank you.
Okay, round 2. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.